Before we get into this list, there are a few things that I'd like to tell you. If this is your first Steam video of mine, then you should look at my other Steam videos as those games are on sale right now. I checked myself, so any game that you like on those videos, they are all on sale for a really good price. As always, I mention their base and discounted prices. This video is different from my others as I'm picking games from all types of genres instead of sticking to only one. Quick note, the sales are for Steam and may not be the same for others. With there being a lot more games here, I will quickly go through them as to not waste your time. Having said that, on with the video. Force Reboot is a game that never gets deleted off my computer. This game is like Candy Crush for FPS addicts. If you feel like John Wicking yourself through several arena-like levels, then look no further. Force Reboot is a fast-paced shooter with a clock. You must beat each level within the time limit set. Your health also drains and can be healed for every opponent defeated. Once you reach a checkpoint, you can grab a buff to help aid you, with each having a debuff as well. Not all buffs are stats, however. You have a chance of getting a random gun in the lot. With 3 other game modes apart from the main, there's plenty to do. Force Reboot is a $3 game with its sale price dropped down to just $1.80. Up next is Prodigal. This is a game that takes heavy inspiration from the Game Boy Zelda series. While that may be the case, the story and events are something to experience. Don't let the Zelda comment scare you. Prodigal is a dungeon crawler with slice of life elements sprinkled in. There are several paths to choose from, one of which having the choice to marry one of the 10 girls in the game. The dialogue had me hooked all the way through, with even many more extras to do after finishing the main quest. To give a scope of how big this game is, I've spent 24 hours into this title, and I have yet to complete the extra quests after the main story. With compelling boss fights and really good music, this game is a must-have. Prodigal is $15 with its sale price being $1.50. I can't recommend this game enough. For my arcade beat-em-up fans out there, this one's for you. Fight and Rage is my all-time favorite game in its genre. Something that the others out there, even the most recent ones, lack would be free movement. If you hate slow or clunky controls, then I'm happy to tell you that Fight and Rage has neither. It's a fast and fluent fighter with easy to execute combos. This is one of those games that is pretty easy to get into, but hard to master. Unlike most others, this game has a training mode to help sharpen your skills. The main arcade mode is pretty straightforward, with little story to hold you back. There are also diverging paths with a lot of different endings, as you can see from this chart. I wish I could talk more about this game, but I'll reserve it for its own video. I'll have a separate beat 'em up video later down the road, but I just wanted to show my favorite as it's on sale right now. Fight and Rage starts at $20 USD, but is on sale at $4. Whatever you do, don't sleep on this game. The next game is UnMetal. UnMetal was an extremely pleasant surprise, especially as a Metal Gear fan myself. If you are too, then you don't need me to tell you why you should get this game. For those that need a little more convincing, UnMetal is a top-down retro stealth game. Being a stealth game carries a serious tone, but for this one in particular, that's not entirely the case. The name of the title says it all. It's a Metal Gear game that isn't Metal Gear. This is more of a parody, but presents itself to be serious. Metal Gear has had comedic moments with various guard interactions, but not to this level, and honestly, it works. Just when you thought things couldn't get any sillier, it pulls a fast one on you. It's really hard to even talk about this game without spoiling any of the jokes. So, unfortunately, I'll have to leave it there. UnMetal is a $20 game, but is on sale at $4. As we are halfway through the list, the next title is The Vagrant, or also known as Sword of the Vagrant on consoles. It's a Metroidvania set in a medieval setting with magic users and plenty of monsters to vanquish. This is a pretty story heavy game with time to breathe in between missions, as most Metroidvanias do. The main character is on a mission to avenge the loss of her family, with many roadblocks in the way of her goal. There are so many great story moments and a few good twists thrown in there for good measure. You can find tons of loot like armor, swords, and other various stat boosts. There's also a skill tree for added stats to upgrade. The combat was extremely fun and engaging to the point where I almost forgot this was a Metroidvania. This was my first ever Metroidvania that I had beaten all the way through. Of course, I've beaten others afterwards, but this was the one that made me love the genre. So if you are having a hard time getting into these types of games, I highly recommend checking the Vagrant out. Its base price starts at $4 on Steam. It's 10 USD on console players, and its sale price is as low as 70 cents. This next game is one that was actually recommended to me by a viewer, that game being Vice. In the video where they recommended this game, I had said that I couldn't find another game like Wild Guns Reloaded. Well, the search is finally over thanks to that commenter. Vice is a 2D gallery shooter with a lot more going on than what's on the surface. It may look easy enough, but I assure you, this game is extremely difficult, albeit crazy fun. You can lock onto targets with the right bumper, or you can just shoot straight ahead. Instead of having the ability to jump, you have a dodge roll that makes you invulnerable from enemy fire for its duration. Pushing up on the joystick will allow you to take cover and will protect you only from normal projectiles. There are several item pickups that help you with health or different weapons like a machine gun all the way to a flamethrower. There isn't much of a story here, but they went above and beyond with added cutscenes and voice acting. Gallery shooters don't normally have those things, so it's appreciated here. Its base price is $10, but it's on sale for $2. LiEat is the RPG game on this list. This isn't that much of a spectacle compared to newer releases. While that may be, its story was amazing enough to hold it up as one of my favorite RPG campaigns to play through. LiEat has 3 different chapters, which almost feels like 3 different games. That's because each chapter has its own aesthetic. For every chapter, you are restricted to only a single town. So imagine if you could only play in Pallet Town from Pokemon Red. Well, it's a bit bigger than that. Trust me when I say this is a good thing. This game is like a detective story, so events are always happening the more you progress into the story. Meaning, you won't really notice that you're stuck inside of a single town once you get invested into the characters. With its simple pixel art style, you'd be surprised that it has a good bit of animated cutscenes. These also play during big and smaller events. Its starting price is $3 USD, with it being on sale for $1.20. LiEat is a very cheap game, so if you're interested in RPGs, then you'll enjoy this one. Next up is Mark of the Ninja Remastered. Mark of the Ninja is a 2D stealth platformer. You play as a nameless ninja who awakes after his clan is attacked. With his tattoo that gives him superpowers, he sets off to assassinate their leader, but there's more going on than he once believed. While the story was very good and intriguing, I fell in love with its gameplay the most. This game's ability to pull off a 2-dimensional stealth game is incredible. It uses visual cues to indicate certain events in the game. For example, your character is drenched in black when he's in the shadows, despite enemy cone visions pointed his way. There are several ways to approach each level, which makes every playthrough unique and different. You can go in with a risky and reckless assault, or you can take your time and plan ahead to never be seen once. I can see this being a sort of blueprint for a Spider-Man game with the way you climb, grapple, and crawl your way through vents and various spaces. At the end of every level, you receive seals for new gear depending on your score. Side tasks will grant you different costumes, with each having their strengths and weaknesses. Having the remastered version contains every DLC, although the original version isn't being sold anymore. Its base price is $20, with its discounted price at $6. For my Sly Cooper followers, I suggest checking it out. The second to last game on this list is the first Helldivers game. Now, I've never played the recent sequel, but I feel like they are pretty similar in terms of mechanics and ideas. Obviously, you can tell right off the bat that this one is top-down like a Diablo game instead of a first-person shooter. That doesn't take away from how much fun you can have though. Helldivers gameplay is a twin-stick shooter with the right stick being used to aim. The main objective is to wipe out 3 different factions, with every single player contributing to the progression. You can choose where you want to conquer and land there, which leads into your missions. These missions are objective based, like disarming bombs, reactivating missile silos, or taking over a small portion of the map as your base. When these missions are completed, you have to extract safely and move on to the next mission. This sounds easy, but it's a survival game, meaning there are limited resources. You can play with friends, although the screen is very limited, as if this was an older LEGO game. It's not the worst thing in the world since missions require you to stay together anyways. If a friend gets eliminated, they can be called back with a button combo. This goes with ammo and other deployables. There are plenty of different weapons alongside cool mechs and tanks to play with, so no two missions feel the same. Its base price is $20, but it's on sale at $4. Helldivers is an amazing game, especially if you're playing on a budget. And last but not least, we have Days Gone. I know this isn't an indie game, but its price is really cheap, and not many people know or even gave it a shot. Including the fact that we'll probably never get a sequel, I felt that I at least could shine some light on it. Days Gone lets you play as Deacon, a hardened member of an MC who also served in the military. Deacon finds himself dealing with the loss of his wife in this post-apocalyptic zombie-infested Oregon. You are accompanied by your best friend Boozer, who helps you in these trying times. You meet several new characters as well as old faces while you try to make it by. There's plenty of twists and turns and even a little betrayal added in. This game is kinda like Breath of the Wild mechanically, which I love. I've grown tired of super open world games, but this one is different. It opens up a little at a time as the story progresses, so you never feel overwhelmed. The main draw here is your motorcycle, in which you'll keep near you throughout the game. You can even upgrade your bike to be faster and quieter, as well as better durability for those bumps and big jumps. With the variety of guns that you can buy using camp credits, you'll be able to rid Oregon of its infestation. This is the best game here for story, and it is my favorite recent PlayStation game that has been released. Its base price is $50 USD, but is on sale at a staggering $12. Now, I know this is the most expensive game on this list, but considering its base price and its quality, I feel that it fits the description of a cheap gem. And there you have it, 10 different games to consider for the winter sale. I know that will date this video, but these games go on sale every year, so you could just add them to your wish list for the next sale. Anyway, I hope you find this video helpful, and if you did, you can leave a like and maybe subscribe. I'd also love to know what games you enjoy that you consider hidden gems down in the comments. With that being said, thank you for watching, and take care.